This one's recording.
Hello.
The other one's not recording yet, so.
I know. I'm saying hello to the YouTubers.
Yeah, but, I'm going to edit this part out.
Darn
I'm
it.
going to cut this part.
He's gonna cut
What do
it.
you think? Is 4 minutes early, like, too early to get into Facebook?
No.
No? You don't think so?
No.
No? Is 3 minutes early too late?
No.
No?
Too late is 1 minute late.
Okay, so I can wait like 3.5 more minutes.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll just have like 3.5 minutes over there, and I don't know what's going on over here.
You haven't even started yet.
But I started over there. That one's already recorded. It's got almost a minute of video. Hi. You have to look at that one if you want to say hi to those people. Okay.
Hello to those people.
Right. But it's 12:56. We haven't started yet. Because I said we were going to start at 1. No?
You can start.
I can start? Are you sure?
Yes, you.
Oh, you just messed up your
Yes, I'm
haircut.
sure.
Now, this... Did that just get more blurry?
Did it?
I don't know. I feel like it's got an autofocus, and like... Out here, I'm super blurry, and up here, maybe not so much.
Maybe less. But this is definitely not blurry.
Well, this is a much newer and better resolution camera. That one's an old camera. All right, let's see.
Okay.
Go live now. Let's see if it goes.
It's 3 minutes early.
All right, is it recording?
Don't know.
I don't think so. Go live now.
Video. Audio. Share to your timeline.
So. Oh, okay. There's the button.
Got dragon eggs. Oh.
Go live. 3, 2, 1. All right.
Hello.
Hey, everybody. I'm Nathan Morrow.
And I am Jasmine Morrow.
And this is our Easter Dragon Egg live video. Is it? Okay. It's going. All right. That was weird. It was swirling. All right. Let's see. Yeah, as people show up, go ahead and drop a comment in the box. Let us know you're here. We're here a couple minutes early, so we'll just be doing nothing for a couple of minutes. This should be a very enthralling video while we're sitting here. All right.
Show them the sign.
The sign?
The sign.
Is it like the peace sign?
No.
No? What?
That sign.
Oh, this sign?
Yes, that sign.
All right, everybody. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting dragons.
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting dragons.
All right. There we
Should I
go.
go hunt for dragons?
No. There are cables, and like you're gonna trip over a cable and like wreck the whole thing. No.
No.
No. Do you think you could be careful?
Yes.
All right. Why didn't you get a dragon before we started recording?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Goodbye.
Oh, she's gone now.
Oh my God.
Now it's just half. Like I'm half. There we go. Half the screen is me. All right. So anyway, a year or so ago, Jasmine and I were at a fair, and like a craft fair, one of these local things, and we saw these really cool dragon eggs, and I really wanted one, and Jasmine really wanted one. And as we started to examine them, I was like, I could totally make this. And so we got the stuff and we made it at home. And when she gets back, she can share her version.
I successfully hunted a dragon.
Why is it bound?
I don't know.
You tied up your dragon?
Yes.
Okay. Who is this? What's this dragon's name?
This is Violet.
Violet. A very fitting name. So I was just telling everybody how we were at the fair. Remember the craft fair? We saw the dragon eggs.
Yeah, I think it was actually like the strawberry pancake breakfast.
Is that in Silverton?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Homer Davenport Days or one of those things. But in any event, So we saw
Yeah.
these eggs there,
And I was like, oh, I won one. But they were really expensive.
and I was like, oh, I can make those.
And I was like, how?
And so we actually started going around checking out all of our local craft shops. I think we went to like the Craft Warehouse and Michael's, and did we go to Hobby Lobby as well?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we went
It
to
was huge.
a bunch. Yeah, so a bunch of these gigantic craft warehouse places. And when we were looking at the eggs, a couple things we discovered. First, I originally thought that these eggs were going to be wood in the middle because they were very heavy. And what I discovered was wood is really difficult to work with. Trying to get the thumbtacks into the wood is super hard. Also, that the thumbtacks themselves weigh a lot, and so we went to, I think we got these at Staples or one of those office supply places.
And we bought like 100 thumbtack
No.
packs.
Yeah, so like I ordered these, so they didn't carry this like in stock. But we got a couple of these. This is like 10 boxes of 100, so there's like 1,000 in here, and we got, I don't know, 2 or 3 of those. And
2 or 3. It was
yeah.
like a whole box.
Yeah, there was a bunch. But the point is, we ended up going with just these styrofoam eggs, and they came in a couple of different sizes. And so they came in like the chicken egg size, and then they came in like the goose egg size.
And they came in the ostrich egg
size. And so we tried a bunch of different things with them. The very first one we did was this one, and
the medium size.
And we didn't paint them at all because I wanted to just kind of get started and try it out. And so we didn't paint them at all. We just put them in. And a couple of things that we discovered were, one, depending on how you pattern the thumbtacks as you put them in, you're going to have little gaps. Now, you probably can't see this very well, but there's a gap between the thumbtack where you see the egg underneath. And so initially I thought I didn't really like that, and so I started coloring the eggs underneath before putting the thumbtacks in. And depending on what color the egg was going to be, the scales, I would color it a different color. And then I also worked on how to create the pattern of putting the thumbtacks in. And I'm a hobby kind of guy, do a lot of projects around the house and stuff, so it turns out I had a ton of different paints around the house, some from crafts and some from projects and whatnot. But initially, our first attempt at painting, we started with
nail polish.
And why is that?
Because I had a whole box full of nail polish stuff.
Now, where'd you get that box of nail polish?
Grandma Mary.
Yeah, so we inherited this box of nail polish, and so
from
we had a
his mom.
bunch of different colors. And the cool thing is, because you have a bunch of different colors, you can make some really cool patterned eggs.
My mom made that one.
Me personally, these ones with different colors aren't my super favorite. I like them to be all one color. I like them to be kind of uniform, and so
this one says, but it's in colors violet,
so I can go with just one color, and the other members of our family tried out with a variety of colors and things. And so having nail polish or something like that is really cool because you can do a bunch of different colors and you can really mix and match them. The drawback of nail polish?
It can scratch.
Oh, the polish. Yeah, the polish can scratch off. But what was the other one? Do you remember?
Yeah.
It takes forever.
Oh.
Painting each one by hand takes a long time.
And sometimes you need multiple coats and stuff like that.
But if you, like this one, if you like a really organic look to it, the nail polish gives it some lines and some organic feel to it, so it's not as uniform. So if you like that, that can be nice. But these smallest eggs, there are like 120 to 150 thumbtacks in this small egg. In the medium-sized egg, I want to say it's closer to 200, 250. And then in these big ones, it's
We
like,
just like fill a whole thing of 500.
300 or 400, something like that, in these big guys. So you're talking a long time if you're going to be doing that with nail polish.
So then we started spray painting the thumbtacks.
Yes, but what we discovered is holding the thumbtacks in place, like you don't want to be holding onto the thing and like painting each one. So what we did is we just used cardboard, and you can
Stuck 'em
probably
in.
see the holes in there. These are reusable, and so I made very straight lines and made a pattern so I could tell how many thumbtacks I had, and then you could color them whichever color you wanted.
And also, if the nail polish like drips,
Yeah,
then it's fine.
you're gonna protect your table or wherever your surface you're working. But anyway, the cardboard's really nice. It holds them nice and firm. And eventually, when I started doing these bigger eggs, I went to full on. So this one holds
500.
500 thumbtacks, and then I started spray painting them because I really like the uniform look, and I like to have them all be more or less one color. And being a project guy, I had a whole bunch of different spray paints around my house.
Oh,
So
yes.
this is one that I had around my house. This is the color that we're going to be using today.
And with this one, you put like a protective coat over it.
Right.
And there are some like spray paints that are like textured, so you can have a whole bunch of
So
different feels.
this is an example of one that we did with the nail polish remover, and after playing with it for a while, it still looks pretty good. But you can see some places where there's chips and the polish has come off because it's a metal surface. So if we had taken the time to like put a clear coat over this, it would have been a little bit more safe in the long run. This one, because I did it with spray paint, I spray painted it the color I wanted it, and then I let it dry, and then I took a clear coat and I coated it. Now I used a matte coat on this, so it was originally a very shiny red, and now it's a little bit of a dull red, and I thought that would look good on the eggs. But you can do, again, whatever color you want. There are glossy coats that will make it really super shiny if you're looking for one that's like very shiny dragon color. But doing them 500 at a time allows me to have a big egg like this, be confident that I'm going to be able to coat it 100%, and then later on I'll have a few different ones, so if I lose one, I've got some extras, or if I decide to make one that's multicolored, I can do that. This was an interesting one because the spray paint is actually textured, so it had little flecks of plastic or whatever in it, and so it came out a very rocky looking one. And then this one is one of the first ones that I colored underneath. So I colored it black first. I actually used a Sharpie on this and colored it black. And then when I put the thumbtacks in, any place where there might have been a gap is black underneath. And then I had a thought. I thought, what if I thought of these as being kind of like scales, and then underneath was like a membrane of some sort.
A protective membrane.
So rather than doing it all red,
she's going to do it green to signal that it's that protective membrane.
And so this is going to be the first one that I'm going to do. All the scales are going to be a different color than the egg underneath. And so if there are little gaps between the scales, you'll see this green coming through. And to paint this, I just used, what was that? It's like artistic watercolor craft paint. And so I just painted it over. And again, it's not a great job. And I got some thumbprints and stuff in there. The point being that it doesn't have to be a perfect color underneath because I'm just going to cover it up anyway.
And there are different ways that you can make a pattern with the thumbtacks. On most of these smaller eggs, we started at the top and went down, which gives it kind of this pine cone like pattern. But with our first egg and with the bigger eggs, we started from the bottom and went to the top so that it gets this more like flowing downward pattern.
So depending on which end of the egg you start with, the scales will overlap, either kind of facing down toward the fat end of the egg, which I think of as the bottom, and then this other one, it'll scale up, kind of like a pine cone, to the top of the egg. And so depending on whether you want them to scale down or scale up, you actually have to start at the opposite end of the egg to make sure that when the last ones that you put on are going to be on top. And so if you want them to scale downward, you actually start at the bottom and then scale around. And I like to move in circles around the egg to give it more of a uniform approach. And anybody who's done drawings of fish or lizards or dragons, something with scales, you kind of want to have this overlapping sort of pattern. How much you overlap will allow you to use fewer or more thumbtacks. So if you get them really, really tight, so if this is my thumbtack, let me draw these as circles. So if we were to be putting these as thank you. If we were to be using these as our thumbtacks, and I put the pin of my next thumbtack right here in the crevice, then that thumbtack is going to overlap a lot, and they're going to use a lot more. But if I put it a little bit off the tip, then when they overlap, they'll just overlap just enough to give the scales, and I will use fewer thumbtacks. So if the number of thumbtacks that you're using is a concern, then you move them a little bit away.
Further apart.
And one more thing that we discovered, you probably can't see this real well, but these guys do sometimes come out.
Yes.
And putting them back in the same hole is just going to make that hole bigger. And you want to be careful about that. So what I discovered, so if any of these fall out, or I want to make sure that I fill any holes, like this guy here actually started with a hole in the top. If I want to fill that in, I actually use hot glue. Just don't touch the tip to the egg because it is hot enough, it'll melt the egg. But if you just use hot glue to fill in any holes, then you can put your thumbtack in, and that hot glue will solidify, and those guys will stick in nice and tight.
And with the protective membrane, you can just cover that hot glue, and no one will ever
totally
know
paintable.
it's there.
And I see that Henry says hi. Hi, Henry. Hope you're doing great. Miss you, buddy. We'll see you at the next Little Village video, I hope. All right.
Tiffany, thank you for saying we have a cool dragon.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. So, how do we do it? So if this is my guy, I like the scales to pattern downward, so opposite of the pine cone, and so I will start at the bottom. So I'm going to grab some of my thumbtacks here from my big board. So, real easy, I just find the place I want to start, stick that first one in, boop, and then I'm thinking, how many do I want around the outside? I might be able to get away with 5, but if I do a pattern of 6 around the outside, then it'll make it even as it kind of goes out, and you're going to have more and more, because as you go out, you're going to be making a bigger and bigger circle. So I'm not going to put it right up against touching. I move it out maybe 1/8 of an inch, so I get an overlap, but it doesn't have to be a huge overlap. And again, with this one, if there are gaps in between, you'll be able to see that green underneath.
The protective membrane.
And so I'll go opposites to give myself better spacing. And the more you plan this out, the more you're going to see a really pretty pattern. It took us 2 or 3 eggs before we were like, okay, I've got a great pattern on this one. Now I'm overlapping. This 3rd or 4th pin is overlapping both the second one and the first one. And then I'll put the pin of this one, I'll put it right in between. And now it's got a pattern. And as I continue, I just go around.
And you want to make sure that it's pretty tight to the egg, because otherwise it'll just get up and up and up more.
Yeah, if you don't push these down as deep as they'll go, yeah, like she said, they'll start to raise up, and then you won't have much space. So this is a single pin in the center, 6 around the outside, and then wherever each of these little dips come in, I'll put another one. And so this next whirl will take about 12. No, it'll take about 6 more, and then I'll have more that I'll have to fill in because it's going to have to cover a bigger space.
So it's like if you've ever drawn those flowers that go out and out and out, and you fill in the gaps of the petals with more petals.
And so if I do the 6 in the gaps, then each one of those 6 new ones will be overlapping, but now there's spaces in between, and so in each one of those spaces I'll put another one, and so it'll make it a circular pattern of approximately 12, depends on how evenly I get them spaced. If you are super careful with it, then you can get them really evenly spaced. If you're not, that's okay too, because you'll find that it will create some interesting patterns. So this one, again, it's going to be kind of a hexagon shape because I started with 1 and then went to 6, and so that's 12 around the outside. And there's already starting to be a couple of gaps, not necessarily a lack of overlap, but if you're looking at it from a certain angle, you'll see underneath the scaling pattern, and you'll see that green underneath. So I'm not going to go ahead and do the whole thing because I don't think that would be super exciting to watch us do that. But the point is, you continue around and around, and eventually you get to the top. Now at the top, you've got to make a decision. Either you're going to put them all up to the top and then one that covers over all those last tacks, or what I have done in the past is I'll put, before I put that last circle around the top, I'll put one
in the middle and take that circle to hold
and take that
in.
circle around. And so then I've got 6 overlapping the 1 instead of 1 trying to hold down the 6.
It works much better.
Yeah. So, just a fun kind of crafty thing. Since we're all inside anyway, I thought I would share that with you guys and maybe give you some thoughts on some fun crafty stuff that you guys can do at home, and hope you like that. Anything else we need to add, Jasmine?
Not really.
All right. So what I'll do is I'll finish this egg up, and then I'll post some pictures so people can see what the finished product looks like.
Yep.
All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
Happy Easter. Oh, I totally forgot to say Happy Easter.
Happy Easter!
Happy Easter!
Bye. Yes.
All right.
I liked that live
Cool.
video.
Go ahead and turn off the camera over there.
It's not a touchscreen. I know, I keep forgetting that too.